Coming to you live from the fabulous MediaPlex in downtown Windsor, this is a St. Clair College journalism presentation.
Hi, I'm Melissa Russo, and you're watching MediaPlex News Now. In our top story, Black Friday drew a record number of shoppers looking for the best deals. I went stateside to bring you this report. Black Friday has been called a carnival of consumerism. It's shopping on steroids. The day after American Thanksgiving marks the beginning of holiday shopping and offers great discounts to entice consumers to join the shopping frenzy. Over 247 million shoppers visited stores and websites, spending an average of $423. $59 billion was spent cumulatively. While most stores opened up at midnight, some department stores such as Sears, Best Buy, and Macy's opened their doors hours prior Thursday, capturing a larger slice of the retail pie. That meant by Friday morning, shoppers like Kayla Langlois has already made multiple purchases.
I've been shopping for quite a few hours already, and I bought all of my Christmas stuff. I got a lot of electronics, and there's so many great sales. I just love it.
The shopping spree continued with Cyber Monday. Sales surpassed its expected increase, topping $1 billion. An estimated 38% of people's total weekend budget was spent online. Many argue Black Friday is an essential one-day economic stimulus plan. Retailers use commercials, tax breaks, and other methods to draw consumers to spend so millions of dollars can circulate through the U.S. For MediaPlex News Now, I'm Melissa Russo. Let's take a quick look at the weather outside with Ariana.
Thanks, Melissa. Out here it's partly cloudy and a cool 2 degrees Celsius. I'll be back a little later with your extended weather forecast. Back to you, Melissa.
When it comes to skilled trade jobs, St. Clair College is responding to the demands. The provincial Conservative leader visited the college to see how St. Clair is constructing our future. Darren Breckles brings us the story.
Ontario Progressive Conservative leader Tim Hudak visited St. Clair College Thursday to discuss the need for skilled trades training in Ontario.
And it's great to come and tour here today and see what is a cutting-edge, state-of-the-art facility here at the Centre for Construction, Innovation and Production that is helping to match young people up with good, well-paying jobs in the skilled trades.
Mr. Hudak said the message he received from voters in Windsor, Essex was clear.
Top issue is jobs. I mean, I want to thank Dave Brister very much for organizing the event last night in Essex. We had a packed house there, over 100 people. But whatever aspect it was, jobs and the economy was the top issue.
The opposition leader spoke to electrical engineering students while touring St. Clair Centre for Construction, Innovation and Production. He also met with St. Clair President John Strasser to discuss solutions to the province's labor shortage in trades.
The skilled trades shortage in Ontario is not a simple problem to just flip a switch and change. It begins with steering more people into skilled trades, because you can make a good living in many skilled trades areas. So it's trying to figure that out from a high school, and then where do you get people? How do you get people interested in going into skilled trades?
Mr. Hudak made the case for change, saying a vote for the Liberals will be more of the same, no matter who they elect as leader.
To me, it all seems like more of the same. I mean, Dalton McGuinty didn't create this mess with the deep debt and loss of jobs on his own. We need a new plan that's going to get our economy back on our feet and provide more hope and opportunity. Dave Brister and I have that plan. It includes creating 200,000 skilled trades jobs by working closely with centers of excellence like St. Clair College. It includes lower taxes to create jobs and also making the tough but needed decisions to balance our books. And after all, nobody's investing in Greece these days. We're not there yet, but if we don't get our house in order, we'll end up being the Greece of Canada and they'll chase jobs away.
For MediaPlex News Now, I'm Darren Breckles.
A county road accident led local police departments to a major drug bust. Stephen Anderson reports.
It was one of the largest drug busts in Windsor, Essex, according to Sergeant Matthew Dasty of the Windsor Police.
Headquarters in the basement, and essentially we're standing in front of, for lack of a better term, a storage unit.
Over 60 bags or 490 pounds of marijuana were seized as a result of an investigation into a vehicle that crashed into a ditch on Concession Road 8 and County Road 10. Amherstburg police, who made the initial arrests, then contacted the Provincial Anti-Violence Intervention Strategy, a special unit made up of Windsor, LaSalle, and Amherstburg police services, who then discovered a grow operation in the area.
You can see behind me there's a substantial seizure, and it's a very, very tremendous effort on part of PATUS to get this contraband off the streets of our community.
In total, police arrested 7 people in connection to the drug bust, as well as confiscated cash and a handgun. The estimated street value of the marijuana is $2.1 million. And outside of Windsor's police headquarters, for MediaPlex News Now, I'm Stephen Anderson.
Potential students got an in-depth look at all the MediaPlex has to offer at an open house. Maureen Marienpla takes us there.
The MediaPlex opened their doors for prospective students and their families this past Saturday in downtown Windsor. The event showcased St. Clair College programs such as journalism, media convergence, public relations, and travel and tourism. Prospective student Tecumseh McGuigan says he is interested in the journalism program and that the open house experience was a unique one.
It was very engaging. A lot of the programs were just kind of giving information, especially at the other open houses in the university. It was all very basic information, but they never really showed you what was going on. Here I got to actually see the video editing going on in the room. The guy who was helping me showed me everything that was going on. I got to see the control room, got to see the work in action, and I think that just worked a lot better than just saying, and here at our program we have this, and that worked very well.
The journalism students write for and produce their own newspaper, as well as their own weekly television and radio shows. Veronique Mandel is the coordinator for the Journalism, Public Relations, and Media Convergence program.
I think this gives them one of the most extraordinary opportunities to perhaps get the biggest leg up when they go out into the real world. I think it makes them tremendously marketable.
Program tours are available by appointment. Visit stclaircollege.ca for more information. I'm Maureen Marienpla for MediaPlex News Now.
Our very own Ashley Godin spoke with the president of the Young Liberals on this edition of 5 Minutes With.
I'm Ashley Godin, and today we're spending 5 minutes with President of the Young Liberals of Windsor, Caroline Jacobson. So Caroline, how did you first get involved with politics?
Well, I became interested in politics back when I was in grade school. In grade 6, we had the political science unit, and then I watched the Liberal Leadership Convention in grade 7, and I decided I was a Liberal, and it took me from then until my first year of university to actually get involved with the club, but I followed Liberal politics from grade 7 till university.
And what do the Young Liberals do here in Windsor?
Well, during the elections, we provide election support, like door knocking, phone calling, canvassing, supporting the candidates in whatever way we can. But when there's not an election going on, which is quite a bit of the time here, we try to be active members of the community. So doing some charity work, maybe serving food at the downtown mission, just helping in whatever way we can to be active members of the community and show that we're not just here when we need people's support during an election.
Okay. And do you think that your age gives you an advantage at all when you're campaigning?
That's a good question. I think sometimes people are really intrigued to see someone so young at the door. I've gotten a lot of comments on that, like it's great to see young people out in the community, being involved in politics and caring about what's going on in the community. Yeah, I think it does give us some sort of advantage. I think that people aren't so fast to close the door on us. They want to kind of hear what we have to say, and what could someone your age possibly know about politics? And then you kind of surprise them by some of the knowledge you have. So, and bringing personal stories as well is really important.
So why is it so important that we get young people out to vote during elections?
Well, it's really important to get young people out to vote because if young people want anything from their politicians, they have to vote and show that, that they care. So, for example, we saw with the provincial election that the Ontario Liberals were offering 30% off tuition as part of their platform. And so by young people coming out in large numbers to vote for that election, it proved that young people do, in fact, care about what goes on in politics, and we can make a difference. And we see a lot of like policies geared towards seniors because they vote in large masses. Like, we don't have that kind of thing with the youth. So it's really important. If we want things done for the youth in the community, we need to vote and we need to prove that we care.
And we know that equal rights marriage and marijuana legalization were policies put forth by Young Liberals back in the day. Mm-hmm. Is there anything that you're currently working on?
Well, we're currently working on legalization of marijuana. So We just passed the resolution at the Biennial Convention in January that we wanted to include it in our platform, and we have to wait until, of course, we have government to do that, whether or not it's majority or minority, but the next election is not for another 3 years, so we have to wait for that. But we're currently working on it, kind of spreading the word, and hopefully it makes a difference in the next election, whether or not people really care about the policy issue or not.
All right, and we've seen a lot of candidates in the last few weeks step up to the plate for Ontario Liberal leadership, such as Sandra Pupatello. Can you tell us who you're rooting for?
I'm supporting Sandra. I think that a strong Windsor leader would be great as a premier. I think it would be so exciting for the community and bring so much energy. And when Sandra was even a cabinet minister in Windsor, look at all the advancements that happened here in the city. And I can only imagine what would come to Windsor if we had a premier here.
Do you see any political aspirations in your future, such as running for Prime Minister?
Well, I don't know about Prime Minister, but I'd love to run one day, maybe in the very distant future when I have a lot of experience. But yeah, for sure, I'd love to run. But like I said, I really want to make sure I have something to offer the community. And I don't want to run on an empty list of experiences. So I'd want to make sure I get really educated and have lots of experience.
Now, you worked for Dwight Duncan this summer up in Toronto. Can you tell me a little bit about that experience?
Yep, so I was an intern, political intern, and I worked at the Ministry of Finance up in Toronto at Queen's Park. It was an amazing experience to get to work with some really high up people in the provincial government and interact with them on a one-on-one basis. At the end of the summer, I also helped out on the Kitchener-Waterloo by-election, which was also really exciting. So there was a lot of great experiences this summer.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Ashley Godin, and we've just spent 5 minutes with Caroline Jacobson, President of the Young Liberals of Windsor.
2 nurses at Windsor Regional Hospital are being recognized for their outstanding care. Rob Benyon attended the ceremony.
It has been said that doctors treat and nurses heal. 2 Windsor nurses were presented with Daisy Awards November 20th for the unique care they provide to their patients. The Daisy Foundation, which stands for Diseases Attacking the Immune System, was founded by the family of Patrick Barnes, who died after an 8-week battle in hospital. The biannual award was presented to Deb Bezaire, who works at the Windsor Regional Tafor campus, and Heather Brown, who works at Met. In addition to the awards, the 2 recipients were presented with a Healer's Touch sculpture and a box of Cinnabons, a personal favorite of Barnes. Brown was nominated by Dr. Magbul Doko after she helped her deliver her own baby. Brown and Bezaire were surprised to be nominated.
I was shocked, really, because I work with so many tremendous nurses, people who are, much more senior than me, that have been doing this forever, that are all deserving of an award, and to be chosen amongst them was surprising and humbling.
I guess in the beginning I had a really hard time with it because I don't know, I don't know, I just do my job every day, not expecting to be singled out kind of a thing, because I know especially on our unit, it's such a team effort, and without my colleagues and my co-workers, I could never do my job.
After the ceremony, a brief luncheon of what else? Cinnabons was provided. Reporting from the Windsor Regional Hospital, Met Campus, I'm Rob Benyon.
The Windsor Star closes another chapter of their history along with the doors to their previous headquarters. Alice Hewitt explains.
The newsroom is almost empty, with only desk phones and a number of labelled chairs occupying the second floor space. The Windsor Star closed the doors on its home on the corner of Ferry and Pitt Street on Friday. The Star has been housed at this location for the past 85 years. Karen Hall is a columnist and has been with the paper for 36 years. Hall said she wants to be the last one to turn out the lights because of her seniority.
There were many years ago that I wished that we would never leave, but I realized that you cannot live with asbestos and ceiling tiles falling in and toilets that don't flush and big old empty spaces. So as we've moved to the digital age, we moved to a new location, and I'm looking forward to it.
The Star will be resuming service at their new location on the corner of University and Olette in what was originally the Palace Cinema. Roseanne Denise is the Metro editor for the Star and has been with the paper for 30 years. She said she has a lot of fond memories of the building.
The memories involve the people here, right? So it's not so much the building, but it's all the people who passed through over the years, and a lot of wonderful and very talented journalists and photographers, and add people. So I'll probably miss the people the most.
The old building won't be empty for long. On December the 1st, its new owner, the University of Windsor, will take possession. Craig Pearson has been a reporter at the Star for 22 years. He says leaving is bittersweet.
I've had great memories of working in this place, and I think there's been a lot of great journalism going on, and that's why it's a little sad to see this go, hey, but on to bigger and better things, you know.
For MediaPlex News Now, I'm Alice Hewitt.
Marissa DeBordely reports from the Star's new location at Oleton University.
It was out with the old and in with the new, as over the weekend, the Windsor Star moved into their new building. This was the first change of venue in nearly 100 years, and reporters are excited about the move.
Somebody earlier today said, feels like we're starting a new job, and it does. It feels like, you know, first day at work somewhere. So it's a great building. We're really, really happy with it.
The Windsor Star has joined CTV, which was already located at the corner of Ouellette Avenue and University Street. The University of Windsor will be moving in as well next year.
I think the best perk is being at the busiest, most happening intersection in downtown Windsor. Not that we weren't downtown before, we were, but it was just slightly off the beaten path. Now we're right where it is.
With so many media outlets moving into the downtown core, Windsor seems to be gaining its own version of Times Square. This is Marissa DeBorley reporting for MediaPlex News Now.
And now we head to the streets, where Ariana will give us a better idea of what this week's forecast will bring.
Did you know that on this date in 1582, William Shakespeare married Anne Hathaway? Now for something a little more current, here's your extended forecast. Tonight you should expect increasing cloudiness with the low of -4 degrees Celsius. The clouds should clear up Wednesday with the high of +4 and a low of -4. Thursday, expect to see some sun with the high of +7 and a low of -1. To put a damper on your Friday, there's a 40% chance of showers with a high of 7 and a low of 2. If you're looking for something to do Sunday afternoon, join St. Clair College for a book launch and signing. That's December 2nd from 2 to 5 in the Skyline Room of the St. Clair College Center for the Arts. The books being featured are Intimate Personal Violence in Canada by Anastasia Bake and The Pink Cat by our very own Veronique Mandel. That's it from the corner of University and Victoria. Back to you, Melissa.
Back again this year, local firefighters hosted Chili Fest to raise money for the Windsor Goodfellows. Jessica Brisebois sampled the goods.
The heat was on as Windsor firefighters and volunteers served up cups of chili, all in support to feed the less fortunate at Windsor's annual Chili Fest. Over 700 people attended the event at the St. Clair Center for the Arts, with proceeds going towards the Windsor Goodfellows Club, which helps those who are experiencing financial difficulties. The Goodfellows have a year-round food bank and have helped feed approximately 55,285 people.
This year's sponsors are the St. Clair Center for the Arts, the Motor City Community Credit Union, and the St. Clair Alumni Association.
Skip It said 200 cans were collected and donated to the Windsor Goodfellows. The Motor City Community Credit Union has been sponsoring the event for 5 years. Marketing manager Becky Landlois said it's important to give back to the community.
Overall, each charity is important, and we're happy to support and sponsor this so this event can continue every year.
According to the Windsor-Essex County Pathway to Potential, which works to raise awareness about poverty in the community, 1 in 10 people in Windsor-Essex are currently living in poverty, with 1 in 6 being children or youth. Skibbett said Chili Fest 2012 raised $3,500. I'm Jessica Brisebois for MediaPlex News Now.
Two local high schools went head-to-head at 80 Knox, kicking off the Wexa hockey season. James Zimmerman was ringside.
Wexa boys hockey started November 21st at 80 Knox Arena, with the home team Assumption Purple Raiders against the visiting Tecumseh Vista Vortex. Both teams looked ready to compete after the opening face-off, but Assumption quickly took a commanding lead, scoring 4 unanswered goals in the first period. At 7:36 in the first, Tecumseh Vista would score its first goal, cutting the Raiders' lead down to 3. Team captain Garrick Lowen said that their strategy was to improve on previous tactics.
So we haven't had many shots in our exhibition games, so we wanted to just get the puck on net, start working on our tactics, dumping and chasing, stuff like that.
The Purple Raiders continued their dominating play throughout the second and third periods. The Vortex would score once more before the Raiders scored 8 unanswered goals to close the game at 8-2. Tecumseh Vista head coach Kyle Pierce said the team is still trying to form as a unit.
You know, we've been on the ice for about 2 weeks, 2 exhibition games, and about 4 tryouts. So it's been really quick coming, and it's just nice to see that we do have a team to move forward in our first year in a Wetzel League.
Wexa boys hockey will continue into the new year, ending on February 14th with the St. Joseph Laser hosting Tecumseh Vista at the WFCU. For MediaPlex News Now, I'm James Zimmerman.
The Spitfires are struggling, and that's the topic of this week's edition of Sports Talk.
I'm Kirsty Ridsdale, and welcome to another edition of MediaPlex Sports Talk. Today on the panel is Kenton Wolf and Rob Bennion, and we're talking Spitfire hockey. They have lost 7 of their last 9 games. Have the wheels fallen off?
You know, Rob, for a team that's been searching for its identity all season long, they may have found it in a tough team, but I think it's hindering them more than it's helping them. You know, you can't win games when you're shorthanded.
Well, you know, Emerson Clark said they're the toughest team in the league. They're right up there among the league leaders in penalty minutes. But when you've got a 41 goal scorer like Kirby Reichel, you've got Brady Vale killing penalties, you don't have your fourth liners out there. It's going to tire them out, and it's going to affect your play 5-on-5.
What do you make of Darren Showmakers being traded to the Peterborough Petes?
Well, you know, Warren Reichel, the GM of the Spitfires, hinted not so vaguely at some trades being made to shake up the chemistry of the team. They were floundering. They've lost 7 of their last 9, like we said. And, you know, they brought Derek Showmakers in during the preseason in September to kind of play in their top 6, play alongside a guy like Kirby Reichel, and be a veteran presence. But he's now on his 3rd team in 3 months, and he clearly wasn't that veteran presence. There must have been some kind of external issue if he's now on the way out of town.
You know what, Rob, I can't disagree with you more. I think he really helped a young guy like Joshua Hosang. Showmakers is a really high-skill player, and I think that's why so many teams want him right now.
The only issue I have with that, Kenton, is he's their 3rd leading scorer, and it's a team that struggled to put the puck in the net this year. Why would he be moving if there wasn't some other issue? Going to Peterborough with him is defenseman Brandon Devlin. The Petes are now calling him the savior of their defense. What do you think about that?
You know what, I think this move for the Spitfires is something that it was more about getting a high-skill puck-moving defenseman like Murphy back in return. And I think for Peterborough to have such high hopes for Devlin, it may be a little much for him, but I think he can handle it.
Talking about bringing him in for an overage season already in 2014-15, a little bit of a lofty expectation for a guy who struggled pretty mightily in his time in Windsor, but we'll have to see how that plays out.
Do you guys see any other players that may be on the move? What do they need?
The guy they need right now is someone they think they already have in Alexander Kochev. They have his rights. He's playing the KHL right now. He's a high-skilled player. You stick him between Kirby Reichel and Joshua Hosang on the top line. It creates a trickle-down effect for that entire team and really solidifies them as one of the top teams in the Western Conference.
This is something we've talked about on this very program many times, Kenton. Bringing in Kochev, you'd automatically become their best player. You'd be one of the best players in the OHL as 19-year-old rather. But what I think they really need and what they're missing is some pieces on the back end. They don't have the pieces, I don't think. Their top 6 is not good enough. It's been suspect all year. Goaltender Yaroslav Pavelka has been their best player. He's facing 42 shots a night, and it's been tough on him. And if he's not their first star the rest of the way, they're going to struggle.
You know what? I do think they have the correct personnel on the back end now that they've made the trade. And I think a guy like Nick Ebert, who really stepped up in the game against Kingston, if he can continue to do so and be the player they know he can be, then I think the Spits will have no problem being a top team.
That's it for this week's segment of MediaPlex Sports Talk. I'm Kirsty Ridsdale. Back to you, Melissa.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, especially at the mall, because Santa Claus has come to town. Jamie Adam reports.
Christmas hasn't really arrived until Santa Claus has officially come to town. The big man traded in his reindeer for a helicopter to make his grand entrance. He arrived at Devonshire Mall on November 18th, officially marking the start of the holiday season.
Santa!
Amanda, Mohammed, and Diana were there to watch his big arrival.
We just seen Santa fly in a helicopter and come over here to the Devonshire Mall.
There was quite a crowd to see him on his first day at the mall. Claro the Clown was there to help entertain the children in line.
I'm here for Santa's arrival, and I'm also making balloons for all the children while they're waiting in line to make sure they're having lots of fun, so they're not getting bored, and that's why I'm here.
Santa is available for a free photo and video experience from now until Christmas Eve. Devonshire Mall has adjusted hours to accommodate your holiday shopping needs, and a complete list of hours can be found on their website. You can also find a copy of Santa's schedule there to arrange the best time to see him. But jolly old Saint Nick said that it's not him that's the most important part of the holiday season.
Every time you make a decision, things have consequences. But if you make good decisions, you won't have to worry about it.
The countdown to Christmas has officially begun. This is Jamie Adam reporting for MediaPlex News Now.
Santa might be a little slimmer this year as a result of the Santa Claus run in Amherstburg. Majeka Grzelnik tells us more.
Santa Claus got some heavy-duty cardio in this weekend. The 4th annual Santa Run took place November 24th as over 400 people dressed up in Santa gear for a 4-kilometer trek through the streets of Amherstburg. First-time Santa runner Jordan Ropat said this is an event she'll definitely participate in yearly.
Well, my mom told me about it since my aunt had done it before, and I just thought it would be a lot of fun. I like dressing up, and of course, you know, Santa is a fun character to dress up as. You get the whole beard and his outfit, so I just thought it'd be a lot of fun, and I like to run, so.
The Essex Region Conservation Foundation hosts the event every year, as well as many other fundraising activities aimed at community involvement. Santa needs some good trails to run on, and ERCF President Ken Schmidt said sustaining these trails, as well as the natural heritage of the region, is what the foundation is all about.
And essentially what our foundation does is protect and restore natural areas and provide recreational opportunities associated with them. And I guess in the context of this run, we do a lot of trail development work, and we will have more trails here in the Essex region and better trails because we're so flat and because our climate is so perfect that that's a great activity that is funded by our foundation.
This event is just one of many Christmas-themed attractions going on as a part of the River Lights Festival. Downtown Amherstburg will be showcasing approximately 130 LED light displays until January 1st. For more information about the River Lights Festival and all of the exciting holiday events right here in historic Amherstburg, visit riverlights.ca. For MediaPlex News Now, I'm Majeka Grzelnik.
As Ariana told us, it's not getting any warmer, but that didn't stop the chill seekers from Bell River. Christy Ridsdale reports.
The Bell River community made a splash this weekend. The 4th annual Polar Bear Splash was held at Bell River Beach. Dippers met at the beach pavilion, and some participants included Bell River Canadians hockey team and the treasurer of Lakeshore Food Bank, Susan Dozwa.
So we've been doing this for, 4 years, I guess is our 4th time, and it helps all those people in need because we sure have a lot of them. The numbers are not decreasing, they're increasing. So this event keeps getting better and better each year, and I thank everybody today for coming.
Also in attendance was executive producer Tracy Bailey, who took part in the event.
Part of the Community Support Center and the Lakeshore Community Food Bank to raise awareness, of course, of food security and also to raise funds.
Some braved it on their own, while others were happy with the group effort. The icy waters dropped below 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Acting Unit Chief John Dory had some interesting ways for the plungers to get warm.
Keep them get some dry clothes on and some nice warm blankets, and that's the best way to start off anyways.
And the race was on between the Bell River Canadians to rush back to the warmth. That's the end of Bell River's annual Polar Bear Dip. For MediaPlex News Now, I'm Kirsty Ridsdale.
Thanks for joining us. Tune in next week when we have Ted Farron dropping by to talk about holiday cooking preparations. I'm Melissa Iruso, and you've been watching MediaPlex News Now.